Good evening. The Premiership title race is heading for a photo finish thanks to two teams, 2 goals, 1 man. Defeat on Saturday for United, but still ahead. A 3-point cushion going into today's home game against next Sunday's FA Cup semi-final opponents Oldham. Still in some trouble at the bottom. As for Blackburn, they were away to Everton, another team fighting to survive in the Premiership. Relegation is a near certainty for Swindon Town. Brief highlights of their home game this evening against Sheffield Wednesday. Plus all the other goals of the day. Trevor's got all the main talking points together. That's once we've seen the top 2, starting at Old Trafford, as United seek to bounce back from their defeat at Ewood Park. Commentator John Motson.
After Alan Shearer comes another man that Manchester United may not relish facing. Graham Sharp of Oldham has scored no fewer than 14 goals against United in his career, 12 of them for Everton, 5 here at Old Trafford. Still a potent Premiership striker at the age of 33, Sharp is part of an Oldham side whose win over QPR means they've lost only 1 of their last 13 League and Cup games, and they've won their last 3 away. Joe Royle makes a tactical change today. Number 2, Craig Fleming, who missed the whole of March with injury, returns in a defensive midfield role, and Oldham sacrifice a striker. Their joint top scorer, Darren Beckford, is left out. While Paul Parker, on his 30th birthday, is the player that Manchester United sacrifice after their defeat on Saturday. Dennis Irwin switches to right back, Lee Sharp to left back, Ryan Giggs back to the left flank, and Brian McClare comes in alongside Mark Hughes. Number 14, Andrei Kanchelskis, and number 16, Roy Keane, are both ruled out of Sunday's semi-final through suspension, as is Eric Cantona. And as we look at some of the 1,800 Oldham fans inside Old Trafford, news today that as things stand, Oldham will have more supporters at Wembley than Manchester United next Sunday. Oldham have sold 19,000 tickets so far, Manchester United only 15,000. Many United fans, after one expensive trip to Wembley, apparently unhappy about being asked to travel to London again. Referee Paul Durkin of Portland gets the match started. Oldham in blue, playing from left to right in what may have been billed as a semi-final rehearsal, but the league match is so important to both clubs, they're not thinking about that yet. And with some of the morning press now apparently seeing Blackburn as the team of the moment, it'll be interesting to see what Manchester United's answer is to that. It's Keane. Hughes. McClare. And that's Makin right back for Oldham. Some of these Oldham players may be unfamiliar to some of our viewers, but you'll get to know them all right between now and Sunday, or on Sunday, when for some of them it'll be the biggest game of their lives. These are tense times. That's a nice touch by Graham Sharp to 21, Sean McCarthy, who was signed from Bradford City earlier in the season. Playing on the right-hand side at the start. Can't play in the semi-final, he's cup-tied. That was Fleming. Bruce a bit short for Schmeichel. It's come straight back to Milligan. It was a tiny bit on the short side from the United skipper. Hughes makes a run down the inside right channel, found by Bruce. Keane now in the penalty area. Irwin. Away by Fleming. This is Kanchelskis. It's deflected, and John Horwood won't get it. Giggs, oh he did, just. Did well, the keeper, against Giggs, because the deflection was wicked. Kanchelskis is the player who has the shot. There's the deflection of Fleming, and there was hesitation for a minute, but how well Horwood did with his right hand. Hughes. And now it's Giggs. In goes Lee Sharp. Oh, good play. Richard Jobson. Bruce beaten to it. And Oldham clear their lines. They really have been playing well recently, Joe Royle's team, and belying their position in the table. They're well organised, and that's for United to break down with Keane here. Side footer. We've had every possible form of weather in Manchester today. Snow, rain, sunshine and gales. Don't think you can really beat that, can you? Hughes. This is Bruce. It's really a matter of the variety of build-up that Alex Ferguson has asked for in the programme today from Manchester United. Thinks they've become a bit predictable. Here's Keane. Lee Sharp. Keane. Ince. Bruce. Giggs! Yes! He made it look so easy. Steve Bruce joined the attack here and chipped a lovely ball in. Ince got the better of Makin on the header. 17.5 minutes gone. Giggs gets the better of Makin and plants the header well beyond Hallworth. So Manchester United, having gone behind to a headed goal from something like that position on Saturday, take the lead with one today. So Manchester United strike first in this double-header against Oldham. Steve Bruce floats the ball in. It's 1 against 1. Giggs gets there ahead of Makin, and it's 1-0. Forward by Bruce. Brennan. Oh, and the defender slipped, and it's put McCarthy in. Oh, and he overran it. Allowed the ball to dribble away, and a relief man is Gary Pallister. That was extraordinary. It was the very moment McCarthy has a right to hold his head. It was a wonderful opportunity, because Gary Pallister, the only defender there and the one who would have intercepted, lost his balance, and McCarthy was in, but it ran off his right shin, I think. Here's Graham Sharp. Holden. Sharp again. Oh, and Schmeichel grabbed it at the second attempt as Milligan came in. Now this was a good cross from the left-hand side, and oh, he just got there. Now, McCarthy was the player impeded by Pallister, and Oldham have a free kick in the last minute of the first half. Sharp, good effort. Trying to extend his record, but Peter Schmeichel read it well. Half-time comes with Manchester United leading by a goal scored in the 18th minute. Ryan Giggs, and at the other end one glaring opportunity which Sean McCarthy rather unluckily let slip away. Means that the team trying to pull away from the bottom have a bit to do here, as the team near the top walk off in slightly better spirits perhaps than after Saturday. Attendances here at Old Trafford broke through the 1 million barrier last week, and there are another near 45,000 inside today, capacity again virtually. And a local derby too, because it's nothing more than 12 or 14 miles between Oldham and Manchester. A lot of connotations between the two clubs. Indeed, it was Oldham who clinched the championship for Manchester United last season when they won at Aston Villa one Sunday. And Joe Royle will be reminded of that because they won their last 3 games and avoided relegation. And that's why they're still part of the Premiership. This is Holden. And it comes off Irwin. One thing that has become apparent is that Neil Poynton possesses quite a good long throw for Oldham, and that Richard Jobson is the man to watch coming up from the back. He's on the 6-yard line at the moment, in fact on the goal line virtually. And it was his flick and Schmeichel's punch, Brennan's cross. Danger there. Milligan. And Pallister with McCarthy breathing down his neck, and Graham Sharp. Milligan chipped the ball in. Pallister was in a tangle, he got the ball half away. Graham Sharp strike. Milligan, Sharp. Brennan. Oh, it's a good turn, it's McCarthy! Brilliant! Wonderful goal! Sean McCarthy. Schmeichel given no chance. Well, no wonder Oldham and their supporters celebrate. That's one of the best goals that I think I've seen for some time. He just swiveled and hit it with his left foot into the opposite corner. The reason that Joe Royle bought him from Bradford City was his opportunism. Look at that. Schmeichel might have got fingertips there, but he couldn't keep it out. Here's Giggs. McClare! Peels for handball, nothing given. It's 1-1, and Oldham have struck gold here for the moment. The man who missed the chance in the first half, what a way to make amends. Ince. Ince's shot. Interesting that Ince wasn't far away, but the two strikers, McClare and Hughes, complained that they didn't get a pass. Here's Ince, and Giggs gets a little bit of a yard, and he's got away from 2 of them. 3 waiting in the centre. McClare! Not quite the contact that Brian McClare was looking for. But there was promise in the movement. Giggs skipping away from 2 Oldham players and delivering the near post ball. Now a substitution. Brian McClare is being called off, and a chance at last for the big man. Dion Dublin, one of the most polite and patient players you could wish to meet, will replace McClare. It's his first start in a league game this season, and the former Cambridge man who broke his leg soon after coming here is now going to have to play the role of saviour, really, if he can. Hughes took it away from Dublin, really. It was a good header, though. Giggs. It's still Ryan Giggs. Now it's Hughes. Lee Sharp. Giggs again. And it's still Giggs, but the cross still hasn't come in. Pallister. Hughes. Keane. McAllister going in again. He's got Giggs outside him here. Kanchelskis. Oh, and yes, it's in Dublin. Fantastic contribution by the substitute, having just come on. It's 2-1. Well, he can't believe it. At Dion Dublin, the header by Pallister, the cross by Giggs, Kanchelskis a nuisance. And Dion Dublin pounced. Probably you can see better from here how he did it. And it's 2-1 after 66 minutes. Well, I said when he came on he was patient. He's waited nearly all season to get this opportunity. And he may have got them off the hook here, because this is Giggs. Put through by Hughes into square. And it's gone in. It's 3-1, it's 2 goals in a minute. Ince is claiming it. Kanchelskis actually almost touched it at the same time there. It's Ryan Giggs first. Now watch when the ball goes across. Well, it looks as though Ince has decided it's his goal. And Oldham are in trouble with the linesman. They've gone to protest for an offside decision that never came. And Alex Ferguson's team have scored twice in a minute to turn this match their way. It's 3-1. Now look at this. Ince certainly reacted as though he got the touch. And Oldham were really cross, because back at the beginning of the move there was a feeling on their part that there could have been an offside. It was when Mark Hughes put Ryan Giggs through. Oldham's defence were looking for a flag and it never came. Joe Royle may have a view on that. And the cross went in, and now it looks as though the match may be beyond the recall of Oldham. And almost on cue, the sun comes out again. And Oldham living with the fact that in virtually the blink of an eye, they went from 1-1 and in the game with a vengeance to 3-1 down and possibly out of it. Here come the substitutes. The veteran Roger Palmer and striker Darren Beckford are both coming on in a double switch by Joe Royle. So Brennan and Makin, the two players who've gone off, and replaced by Beckford and Palmer. It's all happened here in about 3 or 4 minutes. The whole afternoon is different now, but who knows what Oldham might do from this. It's going to be Holden, is it, to bend it in? It is. And there's a chance there for the man who just come on, and Sharp! Yes, it's 3-2. It's Graham Sharp for Oldham. Well, with this uncanny knack of scoring against Manchester United, Sharp benefits here from the presence of Beckford, who's only been on the pitch a matter of seconds. He set the thing up, and Sharp crashed it in. Free kick by Holden. Number 7, three got beaten by 1 there on the far post. Bad defending, but Sharp wasn't arguing about that. And with 20 minutes still to go, it's 3-2. Hooked in by Holden. Roger Palmer, Oldham's record scorer of all time, is now on the pitch. 19 his number. But Ryan Giggs delights the crowd with another twisting run. There are 3 the other way. There's a man over, and he's on this side. It's Kanchelskis. Hughes is waiting. Dublin's waiting. Oh, and Keane put the ball in the side netting. Well, they had an invitation there because 3 players were coming in on the cross, and you thought there was going to be a goal in it. It's Kanchelskis picking it up from Giggs here. 3 the other way. The cross eludes the first 2, and Keane prods it wide. This is Ince. Hughes is going through the middle. Giggs is in a lot of space wide. It's come off the defender, Hughes! Well, there was an exciting game between these two teams at Oldham around Christmas time, I remember. It was 5-2 to Manchester United. It's 3-2 at the moment. It could have been 4. Oldham, like a dog with a bone at the moment, they just won't give it up. And their passing at times is very good to watch. Header back inside, here's Roger Palmer! And Lee Sharp had to get in between those two blue shirts. This isn't over. I don't think it's very wise or very relevant to look for semi-final omens here, because this match in the second half has been so unpredictable. Goodness knows what's in store from Joe Royle's team on Sunday. For the moment, he's wondering, can they salvage a Premiership point? Oldham, that's a free kick. Now this could be interesting. We are coming up to 90 minutes. Oldham have a free kick. Jobson, Redmond, Fleming, the whole army going forward here. Curled in, Jobson round the back. And Ryan Giggs against Neil Poynton. Sharp. Throw to Oldham. In it goes again. Stoppage time, and Schmeichel hasn't got it. Beckford nearly did. Good defending, Dion Dublin. Had to be. Now look, it's Kanchelskis, and Giggs wants it played square. Surely he can deliver this. He hasn't. It's still Kanchelskis. Now it's Giggs. Kanchelskis again, and it comes to nothing, and Hughes throws his hand up in disbelief. I just wonder if Kanchelskis might have played it earlier to Giggs, but who can save him up here? Lee Sharp hooks it forward. 3-2 to Manchester United. 3 points for Manchester United, but boy, did Oldham make Alex Ferguson's team sweat. A thrilling second half from the moment McCarthy equalised. Dublin came on, prompted a spell of 2 goals in a minute by Manchester United. Oldham promptly got one back, but no survival points for them. Instead, Manchester United, with some relief, take the victory. And after a second half like that, goodness knows what these teams will produce at Wembley next Sunday. On this Monday, which was when it was all about Premiership points, Manchester United recovered from their Blackburn defeat to win by 3-2.
Yes, 3 very important points for United, however edgy it appeared towards the end. But could Blackburn maintain their momentum in a tricky game at Goodison Park? Their opponents, Everton, getting a little desperate after taking just 1 point from the last 5 games. Clive Tilsley, the commentator.
Everton relegated only twice in their history, the last time more than 40 years ago, versus Blackburn Rovers, champions only twice in their history, the last time exactly 80 years ago. It's 3 months since Mike Walker left Norwich for Goodison Park. It's 1 month since his team last won a game. He's recalled his leading scorer Tony Cottee this afternoon and abandoned the Norwich-style sweeper system. Gary Ablett and Andy Hinchcliffe are missing in defence. The 2 Walker signings there are Anders Limpar and Brett Angel. Over 3 years have passed since Kenny Dalglish walked away from a Liverpool game at this ground and into football retirement. He returns a revitalised man thanks to the exhilarating progress of this Blackburn team. It's the one which beat United on Saturday. David Batty is the only member with a championship medal currently to his name, although the reserve goalkeeper Bobby Mims also won one, ironically with Everton in 1987. So much for Blackburn Rovers to gain, so much for Everton to lose. The stakes couldn't be much higher, and the draw not much use to either side in the circumstances. Everton are on the verge of a big money takeover of the club, which will make £10 million available for new players, but who can Mike Walker buy if his team are not in the Premiership? Here's Brett Angel, his first signing. Defended by Graham Lasso, and And it will be an Everton free kick. 48 hours ago, Blackburn's bold title challenge rested on the outcome of one game. Winning that game has given them a chance, no more than that. But what a chance now with those European Cup riches waiting beyond. Snowden with the free kick, which drifts on a very strong wind. And fouled by Jackson on Ripley. So far today we've had rain, wind, sun and snow in Liverpool. And the wind is certainly the prominent feature in the opening stage of the game. Snowden. Angled towards Angel. Just had a little bit too much pace on it. It was a searching pass though from Ian Snowden. Actually forced his way into the England squad as a right back, Ian Snowden, some years ago. Bobby Robson took him to a World Cup game in Albania in 1989. Cotti. Stewart's got another opportunity here. Charged down by May. This is Limpar. Stewart. Hendry that time for Blackburn, the buffer. Newell into the path of Batty. Sherwood is breaking down the centre of the field. This is Shearer. Held off Unsworth, but just stumbled under the force of David Unsworth's challenge. Snowden. Cotti. Angel offering to take over. Still come for Cotti. So hacked it away. Unsworth though. Angel now. Here's Limpar. Towards Stewart. Oh. Well, Stewart had a chance on the near post. Cotti had a chance on the far. It only needed a touch, and neither could provide it. Limpar swinging cross. It defeated Flowers, but it beat the two supporting players too. A devil of a cross. Angel into Everett. Here's Cotti. May got to it. Limpar! Well, he's been the victim of spectacular saves from Mark Bosnich of Aston Villa and Ian Walker of Tottenham in recent weeks. And as Limpar, you sense his first Everton goal isn't too far away, and that it will be spectacular when it comes. Well, that was well wide of Tim Flower's target. Here's Shearer. Oh, and stumbled by Stewart, and Shearer's gone on, and the referee is going to call him back. Well, Graham Stewart, the last man for Everton, lost his footing, but just how much Shearer had to do with it, I'm not altogether sure. On by Angel, away by Lasso. Snowden. Stewart's got in behind Blackburn here. Well, he had several options open to him, and if he had his time over and again, the instant shot would probably have been the last he would have taken. Lasso. Newell. Now Wilcox. Ripley is on the far side. Newell! It's there! Mike Newell returns to Goodison Park with a goal for Blackburn Rovers. It was deflected past Neville Southall by Dave Watson, but Newell will claim it, and it's another precious step in the right direction for Blackburn. Ripley picked out beyond the last defender. Newell poked it goal as it just got a slight deflection off Watson, and Southall couldn't quite keep it out. Number 7 of the season for Mike Newell. Shearer, after Unsworth had committed himself. Ripley easing clear to his right. Jackson has conceded a corner. But Stuart Ripley has played his last part in this game. Alan Wright is going to replace him with just half an hour gone. Corner's taken in towards May. Turned away by Horn as far as Batty. Jackson. Sherwood. Good take by Southall. And a clean strike by Tim Sherwood. Good first touch. Good second too. Limpar. Ebrel. Cotti. Limpar. It's gone Everton's way. And as Limpar just telling us exactly what that was about. Pushed by Burke. But again, bright approach play from Everton. Limpar. I'm not awfully sure what he had in mind. I guess a rasping drive into the top corner of Tim Flowers' net, but it did seem a little bit of a waste in the circumstances. The angle was against him, the number of men in the box was against him. Newell, Shearer's offside. Half-time whistle, 45 minutes of glow football. Mike Newell, who was sold by Everton 2 years ago to make way for the arrival of Maurice Johnson 4 days later, has returned with a goal for Blackburn Rovers to keep them heading in the right direction. Everton have pushed and asked questions, but Blackburn's defence has been rock solid. It's 1-0 at half-time to the visitors. Everton have actually lost more home games than they've won this season. They really can't expect to absorb 10 home defeats and be successful. And they certainly can't afford to absorb another. The rain falling quite heavily at the start of the second half. We've just come back from a little break. Happy Easter. It's been a miserable one, hasn't it? Batty. Here's Unsworth. Ebrel. Angel. Stewart. Made space. Couldn't quite make it count. Looked as likely as anybody today, Graham Stewart. Just tried to drift away from Colin Hendry, but the shot drifted away from Tim Flowers' goal. This is Lasso. Batty running free. Newell and Shearer ahead of him. It's found a way through to Alan Shearer. Jackson got across and cut down the possibilities. Stuart Ripley, a spectator to the last hour of this game because of a recurrence of a knee ligament problem which he brought with him into the game. Unsworth, high towards Ebrel, who's won it. Cotti! Didn't get hold of it at all. Very keen to make an impression this afternoon. He's been left out by Mike Walker on a couple of occasions recently. Back in the starting lineup this afternoon. But dropping out of the air, the ball really is moving about an awful lot. The Blackburn defending has been redoubtable this afternoon. Unsworth catching Shearer rather painfully there. This is Wilcox. Oh, Stormer! Jason Wilcox! A goal to remember in a memorable Blackburn season. Are now gone, and an untouchable drive from Jason Wilcox makes it 2-0. 4 goals in his last 6 games. He's flying, and so now his team. Good refereeing by Kelvin Morton, because David Unsworth was booked for that challenge on Shearer, but the official played the advantage, and boy did Wilcox take advantage. 4 waiting in the middle. Batty. Sherwood. It's Wilcox again. Charged down by Watson. They're buzzing now, Blackburn Rovers. Wilcox. Just dipped beyond Hendry and away for an Everton throw. Angel down towards Cotty. Challenged by Hendry. It's a corner. "12 minutes for Everton to do the unlikely, but do the necessary from their point of view, turn the game around." Limpar's corner. Angel beaten to it by Hendry. Limpar in low this time. Watson setting up Stewart. Came to Graham Stewart pretty sharply. Just had to have a pot shot from Dave Watson's layback. Ebrel. Horn. Stewart. Didn't get the break he needed off May. Here's Batty. Plenty on. Jason Wilcox getting forward. Newell. Good turn. Oh! Well, they're scoring champion goals, all right. Mike Newell's second of the afternoon confirms the Blackburn victory and confirms the class in this team. Wilcox, who fed him, able just to turn and twist away from Jackson, then bang! Snowden. Cotty. They're queuing up for the setback, but when it came, May got there at the same time as Barlow. Limpar stole a yard on Newell. Barlow, Limpar, Barlow. Again they got in a challenge, this time Hendry. Might still come for Ebrel. Hendry again. Limpar wouldn't come down for him. Barlow went down under pressure of Hendry's challenge, but Kelvin Morton well positioned, just waves play on. And no protest from Everton. Right. Wilcox. Just out of play. Blackburn, no let up from them in their galloping pursuit of Manchester United, and no let up from the dire danger of relegation for Everton. terrific second half goals from Wilcox and Newell, confirming Blackburn's superiority, and having cleared Beecher's Brook last Saturday, they're looking well placed to get the full trip in this title race. Everton, already down amongst the also-rans, are now in grave danger of becoming a Premiership faller. They've been well beaten today, 3-0.
Impressive Blackburn again, but no change at the top. United 3 points ahead with 18 points still up for grabs. Here's the reaction from Goodison and Old Trafford.
Well, I think it's a good result for us. I thought the first half we did very well. Comfortable, never any problem from Oldham. But you get the start with Oldham going to the second half, then it's a bad one. A bad start to the second half for us. And at that point in it, I was contemplating using Dean Dublin at some stage anyway, but that would force the situation to bring him on. And he scored a great goal. He's done very well.
Yeah, a little bit disappointed. We thought we'd done enough to maybe to snatch a point. A little bit disappointed in the third goal. We thought maybe there was a slight chance of offside.
Now, do you mean an offside when the ball was first played to Giggs, or on the ball in from which Ince finally scored?
The lads in the dressing room afterwards were thinking that the original ball out wide was offside. They thought that at least two of them were offside. But as I said, that's past now. We've been defeated 3-2, unfortunately, I thought. But we just got to go on with it and look forward to next Sunday.
Now, the semi-final of the FA Cup next Sunday is your next date. Did you see anything in today's game against Oldham that had any bearing on that?
Absolutely, it'll be goals. Absolute certainty will be goals. Because every time we play each other, there's a mountain of goals. I don't know how it is, but there's always goals. And I think it'll be the same next Sunday.
It's a wee bit of a wobbly start. I thought without playing really well, I thought we competed well, and we made it very difficult for them to beat us. We scored two great goals, which helps obviously. But they had a chance early on and flashed across the face of the goal. Somebody got a touch on it, but it just never went in. It's supposed to be at that end of the table, that's the difference.
At the end of the day, if you have the commitment we've got today, it's got to change, but we've got to work hard to make it change. At the moment, same at Sheffield Saturday, we've lost 5-1. There's no way we were 5 goals worse than them, but the fact remains we've lost 5. We've got 8 goals in 2 games against now and we haven't scored. Or we've scored 1. So, but today I was pleased with the commitment by the players, and as I said, we just need a break or something to get a bloody goal in front, so we've got something to defend, and we can't seem to do that at the moment.
Now then, Trevor, what did you make of the top 2 today?
Well, I thought Blackburn Rovers were particularly impressive. Comprehensive victory, particularly in the second half. Their passing and movement then was superb. Manchester United, as Alex Ferguson said, more important than anything was the win, because having lost to Blackburn, they couldn't afford to falter today, particularly as Blackburn won. But I mean, now I thought it was a little bit shaky on 1 or 2 situations, but it was a victory, and the 3 points gives them the cushion.
I must say that Joe Royle and Oldham's approach and tactics were most interesting.
Well, he changes it. He's so flexible, isn't he, Joe? I mean, particularly, he started off with a 5-man midfield, which I thought initially gave the initiative to Manchester United. Just playing Graham Sharp up there by himself and playing the 5 to try and stifle United, perhaps because, guess they would be a bit nervous. Here you can see Craig Fleming just in front of the back 4 on the left there, and just at the bottom part, Sean McCarthy, who was playing almost as a right winger. But when they went one down after 25 minutes, he reverted to a 4-4-2, and here Sharp picks the ball up and has drawn Pallister over, and by now Sean McCarthy is playing down the middle, and as the ball's played in, you'll see Steve Bruce trying to pinch it in front of him, gets to the wrong side, and Sean McCarthy hits a great shot, making up for that first half miss. But of course then Dion Dublin then comes on and they go 2-1 up, and you have this third debatable goal. But if you see the
Offside.
top of the right hand picture, Craig Fleming now at the right back position, as the ball's played there, he definitely is a yard or 2 onside, Giggs. I mean, once he receives it, everyone thinks, well, it looks a few yards offside, but it's when the ball was played, and if you actually freeze the frame, he's definitely a couple of yards on. Then he plays the ball back square, just eludes Kanchelskis, and Paul Ince is coming in with a few important goals, isn't he? And at 3-1 you think, well, that's it. But of course Joe Royle then decides to bring on his 2 substitutes, Palmer and Beckford. He throws caution to the wind, that they pull a goal back immediately, and then in the last 20 minutes, just to show how positive his players are, here you see that the ball headed on by Sean McCarthy, and how many players are there actually up in the attack trying to get the equaliser? Look, 4, McCarthy's the 5th, and it does mean that Manchester United were having to defend on occasions, quite desperately to hang on to those 3 points. So it just shows anything can happen next Sunday.
What formation will Joe plump for, though, next Sunday?
you just wonder whether he'd have a go at United, but of course Sean McCarthy is sort of suspended for that one, but I'm sure he'll be flexible again.
Thoughts on the Everton-Blackburn game?
Well, I think, you know, Everton, near the bottom, what you need at the start of a game is a goal. And as Kenny Dalglish said, after 10 minutes, they missed their best chance of the whole afternoon. And it is, all right, they've been conceding quite a few, but it does help if you happen to get your noses in front. And Anders Limpar whips in, you know, one of the few early crosses they were able to play, and you know, it's Graham Stewart at the near post as it comes in, and then Tony Cottee at the far post. Any little with a knee, arm or anything, and the ball would have gone over the line. Of course, then they're chasing the game. But Mike Walker's very much is a passing and support team, isn't he? And this was one of the few occasions where you could see what he installed at Norwich coming out into Everton. But you've got to have confidence to knock it around like this, and all too frequently the ball and possession was squandered. You know, here Anders Limpar gets a free kick, but it was one of the few occasions where they passed the ball from the back through the midfield. And Blackburn, I think, with Batty and Sherwood were magnificent. And in the second half, I mean, here I think we've got a pat on the back for the referee. You see Alan Shearer, David Unsworth comes in, clatters in from behind. It's definitely a free kick. And of course, the referee is thinking about the whistle. He points out to Alan Shearer, OK, I'm going to let it flow. And this is what frustrates players if you're pulled back in an attacking situation. Because look what happens. You know, Blackburn, all right, it's a stunning shot, but you know, Blackburn weren't penalised in that situation, whereas if, you know, Everton get everyone goal side. So, you know, the referee did excellent there because he did book him after. You
mentioned a pass and support game by Mike Walker and Everton. Should they be doing that in the position they're in?
Well, they've got John Eberle and Barry Horn, who I think are sort of more ball winners in midfield. So it's difficult with two players like that. And also the defenders are lacking confidence, and they were knocking it forward too early before committing midfield players from Blackburn.
Trevor, thank you. So that's the championship race. What about the relegation front? Gerald Sinstadt has been keeping a close watch.
Two teams who couldn't afford to lose played 88 goalless minutes at the Dell. Then Steve McMahon began a run that didn't look dangerous until Stefan Karl exploded into the picture. Karl, on loan from Borussia Dortmund, was on as a substitute. But the game wasn't over. Southampton had a free kick. Matthew Le Tissier specialises. But the post saved City, and seconds later it was all over. City move up 2 places, Southampton wait and worry in 21st. White Hart Lane had its biggest crowd of the season, 31,500, some of them struggling to recall when Spurs last won there in the league. 6 months ago, actually. It was a Tottenham corner that had emptied a usually cluttered midfield so that Ian Bishop had room to run, and Steve Jones impressively did the rest. Then came 2 penalties. Trevor Morley here, a bit too smart for Kevin Scott. Morley doesn't jump, Scott taken by surprise. The victim, if that's what Morley was, rose to exact full retribution. They say these things even out over a season. This one evened out over 4 minutes. Morley's foul on Gary Mabbott. Teddy Sheringham, on as a substitute, scored the second goal of his comeback, but it didn't signal Tottenham's comeback. When West Ham attacked again, Mabbott made a mess of an attempted back pass, and there was Morley, this time back at the business end, making it 3-1. By now, it needed only 2 decent passes to undermine Spurs' defence. Bishop and Matty Holmes contrived them, and Mike Marsh added the polished finish. 4-1, and with 44 points, West Ham see safety within reach.
Before the Ipswich game, we talked about we might need 45 points because Sheffield United have done brilliantly well to come again. You know, they won't lay down and die, and we thought 45 might be safe. So I would say 45, yeah, maybe 46. But you know, we won't rest until we get that, that's for sure.
Sheffield United, unbeaten in 7 games, certainly have the spirit to survive. It was put to the test today by the Premiership's meanest defence. Paul Rodgers did the hard part, stealing in on Roger Nilsson's long throw. They couldn't, though, hold on to all 3 points. Eddie McGoldrick's corner gave Kevin Campbell Arsenal's equaliser. United's 17th draw, their 6th in succession at home.
If you'd said to me before the Easter break you're going to get 4 points, I'd have settled for 4 points, and that may have been that we'd have drawn at Liverpool and won today. You know, you don't always get the games and the victories when you anticipate, possibly.
What an eye-catching result by your old team, the Hammers.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised as well. I mean, it was a good win. They have eased out of trouble, but capitalising perhaps on Spurs' home record. I mean, I think they haven't won in the league since early October, and probably fortunately for them, only 2 of their last 6 at home.
Sounds like quite a finish at the Dell. Manchester City with such a late goal.
Well, I mean, it was a vital match. I think that Southampton just couldn't afford to lose. They've now lost to Chelsea, Oldham and Manchester City, 3 of the sides down there with them in the last couple of weeks.
But when luck's going against you, Southampton could have equalised quite easily here at the end.
Well, I mean, Matthew Le Tissier hits the near post there, but and Alan Ball has said they can't keep relying on Matthew Le Tissier to conjure something out of the game, and somebody has to score goals from other areas, and just 30 seconds later the final whistle and a lot of dejection, I'm sure, in the home dressing room.
OK, well, another game which had a bearing on who goes down was the one played this evening at the county ground Swindon between the bottom club by some 7 points and Sheffield Wednesday. Brief highlights now with Graham Lloyd, your commentator.
Walker. Nyholt brought down well. Luke Nyholt! Oh, tremendous shot! Terrific save by Pressman. Nice ball through to Sanchez. He's onside! Fleury Sanchez! Oh! Worthington. Sheffield Wednesday finding their players at will. Inside. Bart Williams could be on for a shot here. Good effort! Oh, he's hit the bar! Fjortoft, no handball, and Sheridan quick to send Bright through. Chance for Bright, with Hammond being out of his goal. Well tackled back by Paul Bodin. Sanchez's control really letting him down. Sheridan to Nielsen. Watson, and Hammond again to the rescue. Looks like he took a knock in the head. But it looks as if Nicky Hammond has made his last save of this match. Aims for Scott. Well won by Scott. Fjortoft! Oh! Worthington. Bright! And it's a goal claimed by Watson. And poor old Paul Heald. Lovely cross by Worthington. Bright slipped his marker, and there was Watson. Bodin trying his luck from this side of the pitch. Kilcline, Pressman's header. Horlock. Oh! It was Kevin Horlock's shot, and Keith Scott scooping it over the bar.
Same old story for Swindon, now 9 games without a win and only 5 games left to play. We still have 5 matches to catch up on. Phil Jones starts his roundup at Loftus Road.
Leeds hadn't won away for 4 months. Unfortunately for them, on the day that dreadful run ended, the only action on the pitch grabbing the headlines came from QPR fans. But first, the real action. Brian Deane heading Leeds in front after just 9 minutes. Seconds before half-time, the rarely seen luxury for Leeds of a 2-goal advantage on their travels. Rod Wallace evading 2 challenges to fire home the 1000th Premiership goal of the season. QPR had problems on the pitch of a different but equally unwanted nature moments later. Around 200 of their fans began to spill from the terraces, protesting at the way chairman Richard Thompson's running the club. The demonstration lasted throughout half-time. Rangers manager Jerry Francis, who had made an appeal for order, said their behaviour didn't help his or the players' cause. No surprise then when Leeds went 3 up early in the second half. David White the scorer. And 6 minutes from time they rounded off an emphatic victory. Gary McAllister's through ball and White's strength providing him with his second goal. At last a good away day for Leeds. More angry protests at Portman Road, where the home fans were calling for the dismissal of manager Mick McGivern after Ipswich were dragged nearer a relegation fight by Coventry. Sean Flynn fired home Coventry's opener, a goal that went straight to Flynn's head. Coventry's worrying spell of 6 defeats in 7 matches was about to improve, as 11 minutes later they went 2 ahead. Peter Undlove revelling in his free role today and slotting home his 8th goal of the season. After the match, about 400 Ipswich fans continued their demonstration against McGivern. His frank admission on his team's second-half display, it was abysmal. Contrasting recent fortunes for these two. Wimbledon up to 8th after 3 wins in a week, Liverpool beaten in their last 3. But Jamie Redknapp's 65th minute strike for Liverpool put them on course to overturn current form. Wimbledon today agreed to postpone Saturday's game with Arsenal to allow the Gunners to concentrate on their European semi. But their benevolence ended there, a deflected Gary Elkins free kick, snatching an injury-time draw. Chelsea faced Saturday's FA Cup semi with the satisfaction of nullifying one of the Premiership's most potent attacks. Dimitri Karine saved superbly to thwart Robert Lee 6 minutes from time. John Spencer had Chelsea's best chance in injury time, the miss not as great a concern as Craig Burley joining Glenn Hoddle's ever-growing injury list. No goals either at Villa Park, and for the 3rd game running for the home side, that's quite a Wembley hangover. Norwich's Chris Sutton failed with one of the better chances to break the deadlock.
And that leaves the bottom of the Premiership looking just as confused as ever, except Southampton's home defeat puts even greater pressure on them, and Everton are overtaken by Manchester City. Another quick look at the top, and no change except Leeds close to within 4 points of Arsenal and 6 behind Newcastle, who still have a place in Europe on their minds. Trevor, you're 3 to go down.
Well, I think on Saturday night we had the bottom 11 involved. Now I would have said there's 8, and possibly, perhaps Southampton and Swindon looking the most vulnerable, and then one of Sheffield United and perhaps Everton.
OK, thank you. Well, there we are. The game of football always requires great skills, but at this stage of the season, having a strong nerve is just as crucial. Good night.